Good morning. It's Friday morning, the 2nd of March. We're at Shawnee State Forest, and this is the registration. This is on 125. Registration is pretty simple. Fill in your name and your plan, when you start, when you finish. Box, you keep the permit, and we are about ready to go. It's about 6:30 in the morning, cloudy, full moon behind those clouds. We're going to walk past the registration kiosk here, across 125, and find the trailhead. We're crossing 125. You can see the fasten safety belt sign. That's right where the trailhead is. There's the trailhead. You come to the first intersection. We can go to the right or to the left. We're going to go to the left. That's Camp 1, 6.2 miles away. There's water along the way. This is the north end of what I call the North Trail. This is my favorite. Trail is well marked. You can see two blazes on that tree, a blue blaze and an orange blaze. We're going to follow the orange blazes. There are no shortage of blazes. Temperature is 35 degrees. Probably hard to demonstrate, but we're going uphill. One thing I like about this North Trail is that it is hilly. We're about 20 minutes into the hike, and you can see we've got sunrise, a little flat spot, then we've got another elevation. But that's what makes Shawnee so great. It's a lot of ups and downs. This is a bit of a high point. We've got our first descent, not much of one, then we go right back up. We're getting up on top of that ridge up there, but we have a little bit of a switchback instead of going straight up. We'll go more laterally and climb more slowly. The designers of the trail made sure that this was a sufficiently difficult trail. I have a high regard for the group that designed this trail. Now we've just come down from that ridge line and making a decently sharp descent. And you'll notice that we've got some erosion from the water that came down the trail from the heavy rains. It was really heavy. But you notice how they brought a bulldozer through here to make this trail, I'm sure, because they did such a great job. But you can see how they stacked the earth here to make this a little bit higher so the water would divert off the trail instead of having it run down the full length of the trail. And they did this again and again and again and again. And it just keeps the trail erosion to a minimum. So here's another one, not more than 20 yards away. So the water is diverted off, and then we keep going down, and there's another. It's just, they put so much effort into making this a really well-groomed trail. The hollow is between hills and it has a stream at the bottom. Of course, if you put a depression between two hills, the water runs downhill, so there's pretty much always a stream at the bottom. Okay, get an idea how much water came through here. Roots exposed. This is as bad as I've seen it, but I can't stress how heavy that rain was. Hard to get the sense of elevation changes with this camera, but I'm holding the camera level and we're just going up and up. We are on top of a ridge. The sun is peeking through the clouds. It's going to be a gorgeous day. Worth noting in winter hiking, one great advantage is that we have no leaves, and so you can actually see the distant vistas. I mean, this is Ohio, granted, but there are some beautiful views. But you get a really different perspective of the trail, because in the summer, in the fall, before the leaves have fallen, you know, this canopy from the trees just obliterates the distant hills. Sun's coming up. We're not quite to the top of our little climb, so we're at 281 feet above the bottom of that hollow. Great thing about ridgelines is you can, at least with T-Mobile, you can get a good cell connection. Typically at the top of ridges. Down in the hollows, forget about it. I hike alone. My wife is not entirely happy with that, but at least I can text her, as I will up here, and say all is well. 326 feet above that hollow, hence I'm breathing hard. Okay, so we're gonna make the descent down and we'll go right back up over there. That is pretty much the definition of the Shawnee North Trail. So if you are a hiking evangelist, you love the exercise, you like to breathe hard, you like ascents, descents, it ain't the Appalachian Trail, but hey, we are in Ohio, and this is I believe the best Ohio has for offering nice vistas, good workout, really nice trail. Yeah, it's a really clean trail. There's a Bud Light bottle. That's really unusual, but if you see trash, you know you're very close to a forest road, because non-hikers, when the hunters come out during deer season, but they don't stray very far from the road. There's a road right over there. They don't stray far from the road. They just really don't like walking that far, it seems. But every hunter I've come across has been really close to the road, except one. And I was ending a hike late last fall. It must have been, yeah, it was deer season. So I'm not sure what month it was, but anyway, I was probably half an hour from the trailhead, came across a hunter. The sun was going down. It was down below the distant hills, getting dark very quickly. 100% cloud cover, dark as hell. And I asked him, hey, you know how you're getting out of here? He said, yeah. And he pointed back the opposite way from the trailhead. I said, hey guy, I hate to tell you, but you're not going to make it. You're not going to be able to see a darn thing. Why don't you come out with me? I got a headlamp here. And so he followed me out, and I gave him a ride back to his buddies. But that was a lone exception. So here's the roadway. This is a forest road. The trail almost always starts right across the road or within 50, 100 yards. But that is not always true. Always carry a map. You can see we've gone a couple miles, 2.5 miles. We're at Forest Road. It's marked number 6. So we're 1 hour into it, gone about 2.5 miles. But we're taking this top route over to Camp 2. So we'll bypass Camp 1. We'll turn there and we'll take this route back. I like the north route of the North Trail because it's fun. A lot of ups and downs, some vistas. So this first forest road is just 1 hour into the hike. Here are a few blowdowns. Of course, we're closer to the top of a ridge, so the wind can get a little more fierce. So here you can see a series of blowdowns. And there's been a lot of blowdowns before because we're near the top of a ridge. Of course, if the ground is saturated with rain, then all these roots will be just pulled up out of the ground with it so soft. So the combination of recent heavy rains to have soaked the ground and then strong winds will cause more blowdowns. During the summer, I really don't tend to see this because the ground's harder. And one rain's not enough to soak the ground enough. So we're down in a hollow again, as you can see. Gravity collects this water down here. This is why I like trail runners with waterproof socks. I don't have to really jump from rock to rock, which is going to increase my risk of injury. 8:16, we're coming up on our second forest road. So we go straight across. You can see it's well marked. These signs at the trailhead and at road crossings typically give you an indication. Water, campsite, it's a hiking path. You can also see as we cross the road a lot of blazes. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, just to make sure you go in the correct direction. Here's a gotcha. You see that sign there? Do you see how that looks like the trail? But if you look over to the right, you can see the blaze over there. And if you look backwards, you can see the true trail is this way. We're coming up on an intersection with a horse trail. You can see we've got blazes in that direction, horse trail in that direction. Horse trail in that direction, blazes in that direction. Ooh, a little slippery here in the mud. There's an old forest road here, or perhaps not old, but formerly used, but they've made cuts across it to prevent vehicles from using it. And they've actually put down grass seed as well, look like, in straw. You can see the string from the straw bales. We're almost to the water source. So we're about 2 hours and 20 minutes into the hike where that former forest road is. And about 2 minutes later we come up on the water source. This is also a junction with a bridle trail. You can see which direction that arrow points. It is also a sign for the water. A sign for the bridle trail that goes up to the ridge. And looks like some hikers have been here. Certainly not following the leave no trace principles of hiking. And here we have our water. You just push the handle down and wait. That flushes the air from the line and then water appears. But be aware, there is a wait. Because when I was here hiking when it was 4 below zero, you might wonder, did the line freeze? No, because the line is full of water. Or I'm sorry, full of air. Of course, after I used it once, it did freeze very quickly once it filled with water. It was so cold, so I couldn't use it when I came back through this way. Here we go. Obviously shows bridle trail in that direction, the hiking trail in this direction, and we've got plenty of blazes to show the way. We're coming up on Camp 1. I'll pull out my map. And there is Camp 1. So we're about 6.5 miles in. And this is only about a mile from the water source that we filmed. And you can see, to get to the camping area, you go straight. To continue the trail, you go to the left. We've got blazes aplenty. We will not go to the camping area. We're going to bypass it. Here we're 3 hours into the hike, almost to the minute, and we come up on another intersection. This is just above Camp 1. So we did an ascent to the ridge top. You can see the sun starting to come out, peek between the clouds, and you can see horse trail and hiking trail merge. We've got our blazes. We know what direction to go. Coming up on another intersection, probably just a quarter mile from the last, and you can see the bridle trail takes a different path. The hiking trail is straight ahead. You can see the blazes coming up on a county roadway. Looks like it's county because it's paved. This is our third road, and time is just before 10 o'clock, so about 2.5 hours in, or 3.5 hours into the hike. And we're crossing the roadway. And we go straight across. You can see the blaze. Time to get our feet a little wet. And we've had a pretty good climb here, and you can see as we get closer to the ridge top, we've got more blowdowns from that wicked wind, but they'll get this all cleaned up. Okay, we're on top of the ridge and got a little downhill or flat, so I can catch my breath. Okay, we're coming up on our fourth navigable road. We had that one road that is no longer used, and this poor sign has been beat up, but we've got another one here, and that is truly the direction we want to go, that direction. So when you get to this fourth road, again, not paved, gravel, so it's the forest road. When you get to it, turn to your left. There's normally a sign like that last one we saw, tall vertical sign that shows that you go in this direction, but that got knocked down by I imagine a plow. So the road goes straight, the trail curves off to the left. Off to the left here is a new forest road. Goes for maybe a third of a mile, overlooks the bluff where they did clear cutting. So anyway, this is where you turn in. This is where they clear cut last year. They parked their heavy equipment up here. So they cleared this area, put some grass seed in when they were all done, straw on top, and left a picnic table for that the workers used, I imagine, at lunch. So it's a nice place to stop and have lunch. It overlooks a wide expanse of hills. In the fall, it's gorgeous, just beautiful. All the different colors on the trees. In the morning with the sun coming up. So the wind is picking up. When you look out over this bluff to follow the trail, turn 90 degrees to your right, and you can just make out a blaze down there. I made a mistake here. I went straight, and obviously the trail goes that way, so I dragged a couple of logs across the trail so that I would be reminded that we'll hang a right here. Hey, we're coming down off the ridge. I actually have been for about 10 minutes. Going downhill is worse than going uphill. It's tougher on the knees. There's a roadway down there. As you can see, it's another forest road. It's not paved. We're going to come to an intersection here, and Camp 2 is going to be to our left. If we go straight across, following the path there, there's a river with a little bridge right there. Just after the bridge, if we were going to take the south route, the south trail, and do a 35 miler, we'd go across there, turn right just past the bridge. You'll see the blazes and follow the trail. And eventually it goes to a roadway that intersects with 125. Here we have water, Camp 2 to our left. The blazes will change somewhere here. We should see a white to a blue blaze. There's one there. There's another one down in that tree. And that means we're off the main trail, typically going to a camp or a side trail. So, the water is right down here. Okay, there's the cistern that they fill up, and the pump is down below that. And here's a pump down here. I've walked down the short hill there to Camp 2. As you can see, it has a latrine, some signage, and you can see a fire pit. There's a stream over there, but I've never seen that cistern empty of water, so you can always get water there. Yeah, you can see leave no trace. Has not followed terribly well. Yeah, be sure to bring your own toilet paper. We're up on a ridge. In the summer, we have so much foliage, you can barely tell. You can sneak a peek between trees, but barely tell that you're on a ridge other than the climb. And if you look at your altimeter, if you carry one. So we're on our way back. It took 5 hours to the minute to cover the 11.5 miles. It's 2:20, and we're back to the first water source. So, yeah, about 5 miles back to the trailhead. So, making good time. Yeah, coming up now on the second road. You can see gives us directions on getting back. 3.9 miles. It's 2:59 p.m. So should be able to cover that. Looking both ways for no traffic. Yep, no traffic. I should be able to cover that in under 2 hours, so that will be a pretty good time. Coming up on Forest Road number 6, which really I label as Forest Road number 1. It's the closest to the trailhead. So this is typically about 1 hour away hiking, so wow, it's 3:30. Should be back in record time. All right, it's 4:37. Started at 6:38, so 10 hours. Out and back to Camp 2. I feel pretty good about that. We're coming up on the trailhead here. That's a parking lot through the trees. Again, this is the trailhead, North Loop, right by this sign. This is 125. That's the registration booth down there.